I'm Jenna Arnold, and I'm a face of America. My name is Jenna Arnold, and I am the author of Raising Our Hands, which is a book that poses very difficult questions to a very powerful demographic, the American white woman. We are in the midst of a very overdue great reckoning happening underneath our feet, and it won't be able to be summarized probably for a decade at least. My hypothesis is that there will be university departments built around this very exact moment, and it will take years, if not generations, to really unpack exactly what's happening. White American women have a big decision coming to them in November. They're the largest voting bloc in the United States. They represent 42% of the American voting bloc. And based on geographical calculations, they'll still control the presidential election or presidential decision through 2060. They'll still control 56 Senate seats in 2060. And it's of my opinion, which doesn't feel humble when I say this, but I believe the world has the right to vote for the American president because our environmental policies, our foreign policies, they impact every human being on the planet. And the president is being selected by one demographic, a demographic that often spends a lot of time convincing themselves that they don't need to participate because they don't understand complex issues. They'll defer a vote to a husband, a father. I call them legacy votes. And this demographic in the past couple of years, ears are perked in ways that are different. It's different. They're shopping for leaders, and they're shopping for their role in ways that we haven't seen in a long time. I was raised in the suburbs of Philadelphia, a very comfortable, average white picket fenced existence. I spent my early years with a huge family around me. I'm one of 60 family members. My mom is one of 9, and we're on WhatsApp every day talking to each other. 74% of American white women don't talk about politics because it leads to conflict. That's 74 million Americans who don't talk about politics. And it's just a reflection of how toxic our political system has become if we can't engage in it because it becomes too heated. And it's because our country is structured in a very binary state, right? You're either right or you're wrong. You're on the winning team, you're on the losing team. You're a Republican or you're a Democrat. And we don't allow for any space to be gray. We don't allow for us to be in the middle anywhere. And so when you're having Thanksgiving dinner, and we all reference Thanksgiving dinner, and I'll just stick with it, but it's not a once a year event. But this concept of where else are front lines in our communities, not necessarily in the protests, not when we're posting on social media, but when we have family members or community members or colleagues who say something that is out of bounds. And out of bounds doesn't require very clear lines for us to be able to say, oh, that was definitively misogynistic, or that was definitively homophobic, or that was definitively racist. There's a lot of gray, and there's a lot of room for interpretation. Now, there's obviously extremes where there's things that are very clearly immoral and that require a quick pounce. And then there's the statements that are a little bit more, are they making fun of that girl at the bar? Are they checking her out in ways that boys will just be boys? Whatever it is, it does require our action. And I often say that the best way to engage in those conversations is to invite people into that kind of conversation. And instead of fire hosing somebody with the gender pay gap statistics that that indigenous women make 52 cents on every dollar that a white man makes. Instead of fire hosing somebody with statistics to lead, those are always very helpful later in a conversation. I'll always start with, hey, I'm really struggling with something that you said yesterday or last night or 15 minutes ago. Can you help me figure out why? I was born behind a white picket fence, and it was activists of color and friends of mine over the years who said, come here, and opened the white picket fence and said, I think there's something you don't know, you don't see. And I hope to do the same for my community.